Since St. Patrick's Day is coming up, corned beef from scratch using a brisket. It's not going to be as pink as the stuff that you get in the store, but
yeah, we decided.
I don't know that you'd think that's a bad thing. Yeah. I think that's kind of a good thing.
Yeah, since we're making it right away, we're not going to put in pickling salt.
Curing salt.
Curing salt, sorry.
Yeah, so we're not going to put the curing salt in it, and we're just going to make it fresh. And instead of boiling it to prepare it, we're probably going to sous vide it, which is essentially like throwing it in your crock pot and boiling it, except that you keep a very precise temperature and you don't need to put it in boiling water. Most people put their veggies in the same pot and just like slow cook the whole thing. I prefer to roast the veggies separately. Here, look at us. We're being all fancy with our corned beef meal, but that's what we're going to do. First, you need to make a brining liquid. It had brown sugar, salt, bay leaves, pickling spices, cinnamon, cloves, mustard seed, allspice berries, and peppercorns. There are lots of variations on this, so look up a recipe for a starting point and then just customize it to the sorts of things that you like. We added the ice to cool that down so that it didn't need to stay in the fridge so long and we could start brining faster. Otherwise, you're going to have to cool it on the counter and then cool it in the fridge. But the object here is to get a reasonably chilled brining liquid so that you can soak your brisket in it. And then you're going to soak your brisket in there for about 5 to 7 days. Soak it in the fridge. Obviously, I meant that the whole thing goes in the fridge. You knew that, right?
Now we are going to take our corned beef. Ooh. Oh yeah. Huh. I'll drain this in the sink. Sound good? Do we need to reserve any liquid or?
No.
Okay.
We have trouble with the sous vide with the extra liquid. So
here, could you open the other?
Try not to get my hands good. Since we got the gloves on. Okay. And I took a selection of the spices that we used to brine it to add back in there as we're cooking, and beets. And the beets are just to make it pink.
These are lovely vacuum packer. So it is now vacuum packed with spices and beets.
Sous vide is useful because you can keep things at a very low, precise temperature. And that means, like a crock pot is kind of an imprecise thing to slow cook things, or a stovetop is kind of like a blunt instrument. With a sous vide, you can keep it at precisely the temperature you want it to be. And if you just cook it at a lower temperature for a longer period of time, your meat gets very tender, perfectly done, and is rarer than you would normally serve it, because most of the time you're trying for overkill to make sure you kill the bacteria. We know precisely the temperature it is, so it's precisely killing the bacteria. And it's safe to eat, it just takes a lot of time. So if you don't have a vacuum sealer, that's fine. Just use a gallon freezer Ziploc bag.
Or 2 gallon.
Or a 2 gallon or whatever. Just use the pressure of the water to get the air bubbles out and pin that up instead. We did that for ages until we splurged on our vacuum sealer. And now we're fancy. 24 hours later, we chopped some potatoes, carrots, cabbage, onions, and toss those all in the oven, 350 degrees, with some olive oil and salt and pepper on them.
And here's the carnage.
Yeah, look at what those beets have done.
It's beets.
Yeah, what I think I'm going to do with this bag now is I think I'm going to sear it, which is traditional with sous vide. Like if you make a steak or something, you go ahead and you sear it afterwards in some high heat. Then that gets some browning involved because the meat is kind of gray. In this case, but I think it's still going to be extra delicious if I go ahead and add that sear to it. I'm really sorry about the noise, but I'm not going to run this without the fan.
Smoke has been detected in the kitchen.
Exactly. I am not going to run it without the fan because the smoke alarm will just go off.
Wow, that is thick.
That is some seriously pink juice. So I have an induction stove, and I don't need to wait for a long period of time for the pan to heat up. It's pretty much instantly hot. So we just got a small cut. I think it's gonna be perfect for us. We don't need like a huge number of leftovers.
It's about 3 pounds.
About 3 pounds, yeah. If you can't afford brisket, no shade, because that stuff is pricey. Try chuck roast, because you can usually get that for a cheaper price. And we've tried sous vide chuck roast, and it goes great. So the beet juice that's sitting in here, I don't have to worry about raw anything because that is cooked. Okay, I'm gonna turn off the fan. Smoke alarm did not go off. Came close. Let's see how it looks. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad.
Slice off a little tip of that so we can do a taste test. Okay.
I'm gonna try first though. Oh yeah. Oh, it's perfect. That is delicious. Seriously.
Oh.
See, totally. It's salty. It's corned beefy.
I'm glad we didn't do the pink curing salt because that would have made this ungodly salty. This is perfect.
Oh my goodness, friends. This was delicious. We are never going back to packaged corned beef again. If you like this video, please hit the like button so that more people can see it. And if you'd like to see more, please subscribe. Thank you. I'll see you again.